Congratulations for investing in the future of your family today by joining us on AI Parenting Live. We are a judgment-free community moving from screen time to quality time, and our motto is don't sedate, relate to create. And today I'm your host, Dr. Ed, and today we're diving deep into creating to talk about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, which is video funnels. Videos are key to turning an audience into a community and ultimately into a movement. And no education in artificial intelligence would be complete without a discussion about how AI looks at video on the internet. And what do I mean by that? Well, by next year, 82% of all consumer internet traffic is going to be video. That is 15 times higher than it was just 5 years ago, according to Cisco's 2020 Internet Report. A 2020 report on parenting children in the age of screens by Pew Research found that children under 11 years of age, 80% of parents say that their kids watched YouTube videos, with over half, or 53% of those parents also saying that their child watches video on YouTube at least once a day. So what are our kids doing on YouTube? Well, you know it, mostly sedation. 97% of parents reported that they're using it to entertain. YouTube is the world's biggest babysitter. But on the plus side, 88% reported using it to learn new things. And 75% reported using it to expose their kids to different types of cultures. So it's not all bad. You know, there's some good things that are being done with video. I think that one of the key things to keep in mind with this is there is a lot of very important aspects related to videos and video funnels. Now, for many of you, like the stats that I just shared, like they're no surprise. Come on, people, we know this already. The key is how. How do you want to transform your screen time for your family? And so one of the goals of AI parenting is to amplify creative voices so we can wake up in this world of AI sedation. Now, I want to give your creative best practices an unfair advantage in the marketplace because the future of our families depends on it. Now, since the beginning of the year, I've been posting a video funnel almost every single day. But that doesn't mean I've been in front of a camera every single day. There's some secrets that I've learned through books like Brunson's Traffic Secrets. You can see it in the Amazon Live, and through my own experiments that I'm going to share with you live. Now, we are all here to help each other out, so please like this video and post your questions in the comments anytime. Now, the world of video SEO, or search engine optimization, is constantly changing. So rather than talk about a specific platform like YouTube, I'm going to summarize my learnings into 3 first principles that pretty much apply to all platforms. And so my goal is to help you turn videos into attention, and then attention into leads for your business or your initiative. And so if you'll allow me, the 3 topics that we're going to cover today are 1, the 60-second video funnel, 2, SEO, or search engine optimization for video, and 3, turning attention into leads. Now, if you're joining us live, can I ask you to just open up the comments, let me know if you're ready to go. And while we're doing that, if you can let me know if you're ready to go, while I'm doing that, I will share this on my profile. Yeah. Awesome. Fantastic. Yes. Okay, fantastic. So let me see if I can just take this now and share. Share this now, public. Okay. So here we go. We're gonna start with the first one, and let me hide this and open up the first one. So in 60 seconds or less, what is... Okay, here we go. So now in the book Traffic Secrets, ClickFunnels founder Russell Brunson describes social media like a big party. Your goal is to get attention, to build relationships, and to get them to engage. But it's not, and I want to be clear, it's not to sell them stuff. The 60-second funnel is the secret behind quickly finding out who in your network is interested in what you have to offer. It is the first step in bringing up your clients on a ladder of increasing value. And we can't emphasize knowing your audience's goals enough. Too many content creators only talk about themselves and what they offer rather than the value that it brings to their viewers. Now, the purpose of these funnels is what? It's to test, to see if what is going to help your audience the most today. You don't have to get it perfect, and most people don't the first time, but you do need to choose a single clear call to action that is going to help your audience the most. So the question would be like, how does signing up for this email list help your audience? How does liking, commenting, or sharing this video help your audience? If it only helps you, then you really need to think about choosing a different call to action, because it's not about you, it's about how it benefits them. Now, how do you know? How do you know what will help your audience the most right now? Well, it can be as simple as asking a viewer if that you know, like somebody who's a friend, if they can have just a brief call to see how you can help them today. Just make sure you write all those down, those insights down. Now, if you feel that, and if you feel that you can add value in some area that they're discussing, like consider making a product or maybe even pivoting your business. At the end of the day, our job is to serve others. And so we're just trying to find out what is most valuable for them. And so whatever we can do to provide value, that's what we're going to focus on. Now, let's say you're at a point where, okay, great, mission accomplished. I have recorded my video tutorial that's maybe like it's 10 minutes or longer. Generally, you want to make sure that your posts are 10 minutes or longer. Oh, hey, bundle of 6 days started following. Okay, thanks for following. On Sham on Amazon followed me recently. So you could, one of the things that you could do is you could post, like say you finished this 10-minute video, you posted it, you made it on YouTube, you could post a direct link to your video on social media platform. But what's the problem with that? What is the problem with a direct link to another video? Any thoughts? If you can, leave a comment, leave a chat. Thank you for joining. For everyone who's just recently joined, I do really appreciate. Thanks for joining. Yes, excellent. And so I am trying to make sure that I stay on top of the comments, but if you do see something, if you do see any comments or if there's anything that you like, welcome. Please let us know. I'm always looking to add those comments. And sometimes if they don't appear, I'll try to figure out why they don't appear, and then I'll try to bring them up. Okay. So, awesome. So keep in mind that social media makes money by capturing attention and keeping you on the platform. So generally, and I think this is key, is like generally Facebook doesn't want you to leave their party and say go to the YouTube party. So it tends to promote the posts a lot less. It's one of the reasons why a lot of platforms prefer to use like a 60-second video that can keep people on their platform itself. So instead of going and having your people go to another site in order to see your video, they prefer to watch the video live. It'll automatically play. You just scroll and then it will start playing. And you can imagine like how much more attention are you going to get if you can live play a video on that platform versus if you are just sitting there and waiting for somebody to comment or post or something. That's going to make a huge difference for you. Now, in order for your video to be a useful tool for promotion, you need to create a sizzle reel that is less than 60 seconds because most social media platforms limit the maximum video length to 60 seconds or less. And also remember the party analogy. So you won't have a lot of time with your prospects. So you want to make it short and sweet. Now, our goal is to find the quotes and the stories that are going to stop people in their tracks. Start in the middle of the action of a story, or start with a quote that really impacted you or made you feel an emotion. Was there a part that made you laugh, or a part of the story that warmed your heart? So stop in the middle of the action is very important. So it's something to keep in mind, is that we are trying our best to make sure that we keep going and that we are hitting people right at the beginning. That's where it is. And so what can you do? Like if instead of like a really compelling, you're going outside kind of video, this is just an interview that is mostly just talking heads. Well, remember, we want to stop people in their tracks. And this is not just about starting with a B-roll image. You need to ask, what is a visual that would put people in the middle of the action? So what visual would make your audience laugh? What would make them feel an emotion, even if they're just scrolling past? Remember that AI is looking at the unconscious milliseconds of watch time. So your ability to make them stop or even just like pause slightly, even for a few milliseconds, will make a huge difference for how well your video preview performs. Speaking of those milliseconds of watch time, another way to increase the scrolling distance of your 60-second preview. What do I mean by scrolling distance? Well, think about this. If you have a post like this one, it's a 16:9 video. It will usually, like I said, this is a horizontal 16:9 video. Making it square can actually double the scroll distance of your video so that it stays on the screen a bit longer. And this is really key because double the distance means automatically you've doubled the milliseconds without doing anything different. Is this sinking in? Is that making sense? This is one of the reasons why I focus so much on the square, because square works it seems to work on all the social media platforms. Some platforms even allow you to make it longer with a full vertical video. But the recommendation is generally that if you're like disrupting the status quo, which a lot of you are, you want to be compatible across as many platforms as possible. So I tend to default to square. Since it makes the image bigger on most social media platforms, it helps you stand out. And it seems to work on most platforms. Like it's just the most compatible version. Now, speaking of social media, you've probably already noticed that most videos don't play with any sound. In fact, Digital Day found that 85% of Facebook videos are watched without any sound. And so that's why having the captions burned into the bottom of the video is really, really valuable. It allows you to it's a way that you can quickly read if you're just browsing, like you're just scrolling through the video, and you can quickly find out if the video is going to be relevant to you without having to turn on audio. Now, you might be asking, okay, well, what kind of like text caption services are there? Well, so some of the examples of text caption services, or I tend to use AI transcription services like Otter.ai or SimonSays.ai. I'm loving AI services, by the way. I'm a heavy user, early adopter, let's say, of AI technology. The good thing is you get a rough translation fairly quickly. You're still going to need to correct it. There's still going to be mistakes, and you're still like there's no way around it. Sorry, you can still spend some manual effort to correct it. But the key is that you want to be able to control how much text appears on your screen at any time. And you can imagine why, because the less text that you have, the larger you can make the font and the more readable the captions will be on a phone. Now, should I burn them in? Should I just keep them as like a separate text caption file? Well, burning the text captions into the video avoids the problem where the text captions are not supported consistently across different platforms. I've tried all sorts of things, but I found that basically burning it in is the only way to be consistent. Everything else, like you're kind of doing it, like you might have it succeed really well, or you might not. So I definitely recommend like burn in the text captions. So is this sinking in so far? Is this valuable to you? How would your videos be different based on what I've shared so far? Like leave a comment, let me know. Helpful so far? Is this And thank you everyone who's joining us live today. I do really appreciate it. Looks like we've got somebody on Twitch, somebody on Periscope. Thank you so much for joining us live today. Joining us live today. Okay. So the next thing I want to share with you is, let's look at the surprising things that AI looks for when it comes to video. So when it comes to search engine optimization for video posts, think of a lazy AI that's trying to get a number with the least amount of effort possible. It's a lot of work to do image recognition, text transcription, searching videos for keywords. So this type of recognition is really expensive, because it consumes a lot of computing power and it consumes a lot of energy. And if you're gonna do this for every single person on social media, you can imagine like it's very expensive. So what are easier metrics to look at? Any thoughts? Let's look at your post text, audio, and video. And let me just make sure. I think I posted something on my Facebook and then it didn't, I don't know why it didn't appear. So please bear with me while I just make sure that I haven't lost my Facebook audience. I just want to make sure that everybody is here. Yes, 4 comments. Yeah, that would be true. Okay, so I am so sorry. Oops, no. Make sure the audio is off. Yes. Okay, so my posts are appearing. So if I write hi, make sure. Yes, it's appearing. Fantastic. Okay. So, first one. Let me hide my graphics, and I want to show you this. So let's start with post text. Now, it's easy for the lazy AI to measure the length of text. Now, at first, we might think that more text means more watch time. But keep in mind that anything beyond, say, the first sentence is going to get cut off by ellipses on platforms like Facebook. So keep it short. And by short, I mean one sentence short. Yeah, it's actually kind of surprising to me as well. I was surprised. Like one sentence short is kind of, it was a surprise to me. So, yeah. A BuzzSumo analysis of 800 million Facebook posts found that those with 80 characters or less, and that's roughly about one sentence, had a 66% higher engagement rate. Now, the reason could be because anything beyond the first sentence is hidden behind the ellipses that most people don't click on to read more. But this 80 character guide is not just Facebook. It also applies to Twitter and LinkedIn, according to Hootsuite. And I have references for all this stuff. I'll include it in the blog post. So just go to aiparenting.live/blog post and you'll see all the references there. But more, and it's interesting, like the shorter posts got like more, they got way more engagement. And the rules are slightly different. If you're doing it on Instagram or Pinterest, it was roughly about double the number of characters. But in general, the first principle is shorter is better for these posts. Think of like the party analogy. So you're in a party, just keep it short. Like, you're meeting a lot of people. You don't have time to go and have like some long-winded conversation. That's for a different time. That is not for social media. So very, very interesting, because the exact opposite is true when it comes to articles and blogs, where generally longer is better. So for example, Search Wilderness found that posts with more than 1,900 words got double the number of views compared to posts with less than that on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, if you have just more characters on an article, they tend to get more views. And 1,900 seems to be the threshold where you see like the same number of views and then 1,900, it just doubles all of a sudden. So something is going on there. Now you might be asking, like, if I have a post, is it okay to put like a link to those posts? I mentioned before, like, oh, you're taking people away from the party. Now, I've heard mixed reviews and mixed results with this one. So when it comes to adding a link to posts, Neil Patel, who is like kind of a guru in the SEO space, he argues that including links helps to increase the authority of whatever you're pointing to, like that link, on various like search engines, right? So for SEO perspective, it's actually a good thing. And so the more social media links that there are to that post, the more search engines like Google will treat it as an authority, because an authority is basically something that has a lot of links to it. And so the more links that you can create, the more it's going to be treated as an authority. That doesn't mean it's going to be high on the social media platform, but it does mean that it may be higher in a search engine ranking. So more links, more authority. So keep in mind, and this is something that is often forgotten about posts, is that all of this like authority stuff and search engine optimization only applies if your post is listed as public, visible to everyone on the internet, and not only you're limited to your friends only. If it is friends only, for example, on Facebook, then generally search engines will not consider it because it's considered private. So generally that's not going to appear. Is that making sense? Do you have any questions? Is this information helpful for you? Let me know. So one sentence and like one call to action. So what that means is, what is this all about? What is the call to action? And then just something brief of like, okay, where do I go? how do I learn more about this? Like, make it easy for me if I wanted to take a call of action. So one sentence plus one call to action. And you keep it that short. If you're able to, people are going to like pay more attention. And so, awesome. So next, I want to talk a little bit about audio. You know, it might seem kind of weird, like, oh, why do you think audio? Now, in audio, I asked the question of what do you think is an easy, like a thing that would be easy for the lazy AI to measure? Certainly the length of audio. So the longer like this video is, perhaps the more thought that got put into it. Not really actually. Another thing to consider is loudness, actually. So how many of you have watched a video where the audio was so soft you couldn't hear what they were actually talking about? You know what I mean? You probably didn't watch the video for very long before you jumping on to another video. So the first step is to make sure that you're getting the maximum volume from your audio track. In my Confident Live video series, I mentioned that the purpose of loudness is it helps the other person feel like they are closer to a face-to-face conversation with you. And that's all we're trying to do, is just trying to reproduce what it would be like to meet this person face-to-face in an actual, like, real party. For audio tracks, it's a good first step to increase the volume so it doesn't clip and cause distortion. You know, sometimes the audio sounds soft because there's P's and T's, like p, t, that these push the microphone really, really hard. Like if you're directly in front of the microphone. And so how can you solve this? You can put your microphone at an angle, and that can help like reduce the amount of force that is going that is being applied. And you can see like my microphone is at an angle. I don't know if you can see that, but it's slightly angled to me. And then another is you can fix it afterwards by boosting the soft sounds while limiting the loud sounds to negative 0.1 decibels so that it sounds louder and it still doesn't clip. Because the worst case scenario is it's too loud and then you hear like distortion in the audio, and nobody wants to hear that. So is that making sense so far? Does that make sense in terms of what we're trying to do? Maybe I'll show you a brief example. Now, yours is going to be different, but it doesn't matter. Let me show you what I mean. So in this, is that right? Oh yes, here we go. So in this example, we're using my voice live, and you can see that the input coming in is running at roughly about negative 12 decibels. And then we're boosting it. You can see like we're actually boosting it by, 10, 12, like 20 decibels, and your program might be different. But you can see that the actual output volume is louder. Attenuation means that, it was about to clip, so it actually prevented that from happening. And what I do is I just load a voice broadcast type of, thing, or you just limit to like negative 0.1 decibels, and that seems to fix a lot of the issues. And you can do this in Premiere. You can do this pretty much in any program as well. Now, that fixes the volume of your voice, but what about your breathing and your pauses, right? Because we take a deep breath, or, we pause, in our normal speech. So I did this experiment to see if adding a soundtrack that is like, normally it's quite quiet. So let's say instead of like 100% volume is where you start off. Whenever somebody's talking, I reduce it to 15% of that regular volume. So it's quiet. You can't even hear it. But when there's no one talking, it increases the volume. So it fills in those gaps. And one of the ways that you can do this is a method called audio ducking. So it's kind of like, oh, there's audio duck, like reduce the amount of audio when somebody else is speaking. And you know what? I tried this. And you know what I found? That it was promoted more often. Like more people would see it. And so that's why you often hear like a soundtrack in my video previews, because the soundtrack will compensate for the times when it's quiet. So soundtracks. Or, it could be like sound music, just ambient musics. Compensate for when the audio is low. And I only do this for my posts. I don't do this during the live streams like I could, but it's just really weird. It sounds really weird when you cut it. And so that's why I don't do it on the live streams. Now, okay. And finally, okay, is that making sense so far about the audio? Do you guys have any questions about the audio? Any audio questions? Questions? Put the captions. Questions. Let me know. Questions. Yeah, okay, cool. Excellent. All right, so the next one. Now let's look at video. Now, it's certainly hard to analyze an entire video, but if you think about some of, like I mentioned that your average post only gets about 1.8 seconds of actually watch time. So really the only thing that matters is the first few frames of your video, right? So if it's like 30 frames a second, it's just like those first 30 frames. And in fact, of those first 30 frames, probably the first frame is the most important. I often say that the first frame of your 60-second video is critically important. And the reason for that is many social media platforms, they do not allow you to change the thumbnail of your video. Instead, what they use is the first frame of the video because it'll lead to the most consistency when it starts playing the video. And so if AI is being lazy, comment, what would you think it would look for in the first frame? What do you think it would look for? And a lazy AI wouldn't look for words or images because, that's expensive. So what would it look for instead of words and images? Well, how does brightness impact your image? Just take a look at your own feeds. Honestly, just go, pull up your social media right now, or maybe after you've watched this. But take a look at it. Do you notice that you seem to see more images that are taken outside or near really bright lights? In my Confident Live series, I mentioned that brighter images, they mimic what our eyes are able to see in a real face-to-face situation. Even when it's dark, our eyes are able to compensate for that. But most cameras, like digital cameras, are not able to. So if you see a dark image, then people generally ignore it. Now, if you're recording in a dark indoor place, this is where the B-roll that is brighter, something can really help your video stand out. If you can put that as the first frame of your video, it's going to have a big impact. And the benefit of it is that not every post that you have is going to be your face on there. You'll have different things. You'll have different images of the different types of B-roll that you've added. So it does give some variety, and you don't want it to be super boring either. So for myself, I'm also doing some experiments with, if we're doing a square video, right? So that means you have your video and then you have a title on the top that tells you, okay, this is roughly what it's about. And then you have text captions on the bottom. I'm actually experimenting with a white background on the top and bottom bars instead of a black one on these square videos. Because potentially what it does is it will make the average image brighter, right, than if you just had it on black. And so it's another small little tweaks, small little experiments. It's all about doing tiny little experiments and seeing, what happens when we've got more audience attention. Okay, so now we've got audience attention. How do we turn that attention into like leads, contacts, relationships, that will help your business or your initiative or the thing that you're driving towards. And that leads me into my last section. But before I go there, I just want to check, how are you guys doing? Is this sinking in so far? It's making sense? Leave a comment if you have any questions as well, or if you have anything that I can help with. So videos, any video questions? So I like the idea of a lazy AI as a first principle when it comes to search engine optimization, because it's so easy to understand. Like, it's so easy. It just applies to everything. It applies to text. It applies to video. It applies to audio. Like, what is easy? Yes, we could go and, do like read the text and everything. But if you think about like AI, if we were to do that for every single video that was posted, and there's millions of videos posted every single day, it would be too much. So we've got to look at other things. And so we look at things that people don't normally look at, but are easy to get into the numbers. And so I hope that it's helpful to the lazy AI approach. I love it, because lazy AI is a fun way of thinking about it. You don't normally think of laziness, like the laziness of an AI. So, okay, here we go. The next one we're going to explore is how do we turn, so we just did this one. Oh, I'm sorry. Attention into leads. How do we turn attention into leads? So many social media platforms, they support the story feature that allows you to post 15-second video clips that exist for 24 hours. And I want to be clear, and I think I need to turn off the graphics for this. Stories are the most powerful video funnel tool available on the internet today. Honestly, you almost never see who watched a video in a post, but stories give you the contact names, and you don't need a fee in order to use them. In fact, if you have multiple 15-second stories, it'll also tell you exactly who watched the first video, the second one, the third one, and the fourth video, because it'll split into 4 different videos. And this is exactly what makes the video funnel so powerful. Your 60-second preview is the ideal source for this video story funnel. Using free apps like Split Video, it's easy to divide the 60-second preview into 4 15-second segments. So 4 different videos that are 15 seconds or less each. Now, after you upload each segment to your story, they're going to be live for 24 hours. And the real power comes from how you use the video funnel data. Now, the video data makes it easy to see who maybe accidentally viewed your story from those who are actually interested. But maybe they're not at the level that they feel comfortable like liking, commenting, or sharing this post. Like, I've got a bunch of people online today, and maybe you don't feel comfortable liking, sharing, or commenting about this post. That's okay, right? Like, we're a judgment-free community. But in general, people who watch the second, third, or fourth video, they're showing a genuine interest in your content. Like, they actually care about your stuff. And you have their attention. And honestly, like, that's half the battle. Yeah, you might be thinking, I mean, who cares? Like, if they consume my content, it doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to like buy anything, or they're gonna like follow my movement, or they're gonna be helpful in any way. But a useful guide from Dan Lok is that for every $1,000 purchase from your clients, they need to consume at least an hour of content. $1,000, for 1 hour of 1 hour of content they have to have consumed in order to be convinced that it's worthwhile to make that $1,000 purchase. And so if we flip it around, what that means is that every minute of content consumed should be worth around $16 of sales to you, right? So that person who is investing that kind of level of time, right? Like they're looking for, well, what should I purchase? Like, what is the right thing? So I hope that helps. Are you seeing how powerful that is and how powerful that can be? The 60-second video preview turned into a video funnel is one of the most powerful attention funnels that I've seen on the internet. Now, keep in mind, 24 hours is not a lot of time. And I know you're busy people. Like, you guys are all busy. Everybody's got like so many things going on. It's like, maybe you don't have time to write down those names of the people who view your videos. If you don't have time, I'd recommend just take a screenshot, right? So you just like, screen capture, you press the 2 buttons on your phone, and then you can process that data later. And I've found that what's most useful is like you just find one time a week that you can follow up on the data that you've collected. And by follow up, I mean like, and it's important. This is like, it's important to follow up that in the same week while the attention is still top of mind, because they watched you, they get you, they're following you, and they're like, oh, okay, maybe there's some stuff that's useful here, but just try to like keep it within the same week if you're able. The money or the following or the movement, it's all in the follow-up. Most people are aware that this data already exists, but they don't do anything with it. So the key is that every call to action, no matter what it is, has got to benefit your audience, like right now, like today. So keep in mind, like you're trying to build a relationship. And so asking what's going to benefit them the most in this time is so valuable as a starting point. And that's why I push this, like emphasize this, like we're not here to sell anybody anything. We are just here to build relationships. And if we treat it like that, rather than, oh, I must sell you something, I think we're going to benefit, like the other people are going to be much more appreciative of what we do. And I think really it's like you're trying to help them with their goals. So why would that be a problem, right? If you told them, hey, go and check this out, it's going to help you. Hey, here's how it's going to help you. And that's something I had to learn like the hard way, because, if you start pushing any type of like, oh, you got to go and do this and do that, like it doesn't benefit them. They're not going to want to do that in return. It just made it more clear, like, what do we need to do in order to support people in this time? So in terms of supporting people, and I want to make it clear, like there's never any obligations. I'm here to just help you. So like, first of all, first question is all of this making sense so far? Am I on the right track? Is this beneficial to you? And is this beneficial to your business? Is this helpful so far? If you have any questions, of course, feel free to post them into the comments. Would love to see your comments, questions. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you guys. I'm here to provide as much support as I can. I think that go and check out Russell Brunson's book. A lot of the stuff that I mentioned today is derived from his Traffic Secrets book. Traffic Secrets is he's kind of the big ClickFunnels founder. And from there, like a lot of stuff is kind of just a combination. Like he talks a little bit about stories. I don't think he talks about stories as a funnel. But I do think that like a video funnel is just an evolution of like your typical sales funnel. where people go from awareness to interest to desire and ultimately to action. So, keep in mind, like, this is very similar, but this is not trying to get people to an action. It's just trying to get people to just more awareness before they take that action. And that's important to keep in mind. Like, your job is not to sell them something. Your job is just to get them maybe to click on something, or maybe just go to the next step. Like, you don't need to be pushy. All right, cool. All right, awesome. So the last thing that I want to cover with you guys is something I call a video funnel package. Now, I've covered a lot today, and it may seem like really overwhelming, but maybe you just want to have these video funnels like made for you and not have to worry about making it square and adding transcriptions and adding music, and it's a lot of work. And so that's exactly why, for a limited time, I'm offering a $50 discount on the video funnel package on the aiparenting.live site. So you just go to AI Parenting Live, there's a shop, and you can click on video funnel package. And what we do in this package is we take 3 videos, like we'll make 3 videos, so we take a video of yours, and then we turn it into the 3 60-second video funnels that you're able to use on any social media posts, and you can also use it for your video story funnel. The idea behind it is it just takes care of all of the optimizations that you need to give your video the best chance of engagement, so that all you need to do is just like share the video with us, like think about like what do you want as the call to action, and then follow up on those results. So, keep in mind, like 3 videos are not limited to just one post on social media. You can use the same post for all of the different social media. I mentioned like we try to optimize for it can be used anywhere. And my recommendation would be like, I would, if you're able to, recommend like especially if you want to get your message out, put a little bit of money behind the social media platform posts, the videos that are the most popular. You'll find that like not all of them are like, wow, like this one went totally viral, but there will be some. And for those ones, I'd highly recommend go and put a little bit of money behind turning that into an advertisement of some, because that is going to dramatically reduce your risk. Since first of all, you already know that this post is successful. There's no risk. Like, it's like, oh, this is already doing so well, why not just put a little bit behind it? Then if you're trying to promote something or you're trying to get people to a call to action, you're going to find more people who go towards your call to action. You're going to find it gets promoted more, because at the end of the day, like Facebook wants, and other platforms, they just want to keep people on the platform. So if you post something and it's not very engaging to begin with, they're not going to actually promote it that much, even if you put money towards an ad on it. If that makes sense, let me know, because this is an important point. Like, you have to do experiments. These are not the product. These are experiments. Like, is this valuable to you? Can I provide something more useful for you? You tell me. And so that's why like you want to spend kind of the minimum amount of money on these posts, if that makes sense. Like honestly, I've looked at different video ad production. So if you did like a full production, I mean, that's huge, right? Like a video crew and stuff like that, that could be like, 5,000, 10,000. They charge a lot, depending on the level of service that's provided. The alternative is some people like will hire a video editor. They will pay them like, I don't know, 500, a little bit more than 500 a month. Usually there's a minimum term. So like you sign up with them for like 6 months. So it'd be like $3,000. But what I've found is that it's actually like finding an editor that can quickly deliver all of the video SEO optimizations that I mentioned today is actually quite difficult. And it's actually one of the reasons why I don't know how long I can offer this package. I plan to actually stop offering the video funnels package for, like right now, it's $250 for the 3 videos. And that's less than $100 per video funnel. But after the end of the month, I'm planning to move to a subscription-only service with a minimum of a 3-month commitment. So, like, there's no commitment or pressure on anybody's part. But if you think that this is video funnels is right for your business, or it's right for your movement, or you think it's right for you, then just reach out to me soon, or you can visit the site aiparenting.live. You can just take a look at more details about what does that look like? What does that package look like? I'll put up the URL one more time. Yeah, so aiparenting.live, right? So just check out the site if you think it's useful. Now, the reason I'm doing this, like my goal here is to make sure that your creative best practices have this unfair advantage in the marketplace. The whole point behind this is the only way that we're going to take back control of our future that is likely going to be managed by AI. It's going to manage how we work. It's going to manage how we learn, is by promoting creativity as much as possible. And if you've watched this far, and maybe video funnels is like, this is a strong indication that these video funnels are a good option for your business. Again, like I said, this isn't for everybody. I use this a lot. I believe in it a lot because I know the impact that video has on attention. I know that like our eyes are naturally attracted to motion. And so, yeah, they're going to promote video way more than anything else. Just even if you look at like milliseconds of watch time, right? Like video is gonna beat every other medium out there, simply because it's what drives way more watch time, keeps people on the platform longer. It's pretty clear to me that it's the strongest method, and these video funnels again are like the most powerful things that I've seen to date. And I've looked at a lot of stuff in terms of like the whole ad tech industry. And so it's a very, very interesting thing. Now, on a totally different subject, I want to switch gears with you because I want to keep adding value. And you've probably already heard that Apple recently added a requirement to request, like they need permission for app tracking on iPhones. And so now if you opened up your Facebook account, you notice how like it says, oh, we need to get your permission to track you. Please agree. And we can find like 98% of people, I think, were saying like, no, I don't agree. And so when people have the option, of course, they're going to choose the one that is more privacy preserving. But the question is, how does this and other privacy regulations that are coming impact your family? And so next week, we'll interview the data diva herself. Her name is Debbie Reynolds. And if you don't know her, like you'll like just look her up on LinkedIn. You just see like a ton of posts and different podcasts that she's on the regular. She's going to help us look at ways that you can be proactive about the privacy for your family. And I think that this is it's a really interesting subject to me because I also do work as a privacy officer for an educational technology company, NuiTech. And so it's very interesting to me because that area is changing so quickly. And whatever rights are coming down for your data, it's just fascinating because your data and your rights to that data is going to be a big determinant of your freedom in the future. You don't own your data. You don't control your own freedom. Like it actually impacts your ability of what you can do if you don't have that control. So it's very, very important. I think every family should take it very seriously. Now, no matter what works best for you, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you for growing with us today on AI Parenting Live. We love you, and we want to see your family thrive. Thanks, and we will see you again next week. Take care. We'll see you soon.